can stretch, bend, walk, run and jump जोड़ के हिस्सा. Now, many other organisms provides different types of movements, maybe movements and locomotions. You can see in this picture diagrams also. So these are the locomotion if the place is vary from one place to another. This is the simplest form of movements by amoeba, protoplasmic streaming by the pseudopodia. This is the simplest form of the movements. And different movements by cilia, flagella and tentacles are provided by the paramecium, chlamydomonas and hydra. These are the different movements. We can perform move eyelids, tongue, jaw, and we can also lower limb and upper limbs. So there are difference in movements and locomotions. If we are changing the location, then it is called locomotions. We can perform other activities like climbing, swimming, walking, running. These all are locomotory movements. So the flying, one of the examples also. And other locomotory movements are also swimming, this by the fish, you can see. And in parameciums, movements by the cilia, and also food is travel through the cytopharynx by cilia, and by tentacles in hydra also capture the prey. So there are two functions, extra functions by the structures, and these movements and locomotions. रुक जाना नहीं तू कहीं हार के. So now we will this types of movements by the cells of the body: amoeboid, ciliary, and muscular. Three types mainly. Amoeboid is the simplest form of the movements. Macrophages and white blood cells in the blood is provided by the amoeboid movements. And next is the amoeboid movements by pseudopodia, by protoplasmic streaming, and this amoeboid movements by macrophages and white blood cells. And microfilaments are also used in amoeboid movements in amoeba. This is the ciliary movements in trachea. You can say this remove the dust particle and some foreign particles. This is lined by the ciliated epithelium. This is the trachea, and in this movement is through the ciliary movements occurs. This is the ciliary movements by the cilia, and this remove the different dust particles and foreign material inhaled by the. And this is the ciliary movements in the female reproductive system. Ovum is going through this tract, and these muscular movements by the human body may open the jaw, blink the eyes, tongue, jaw, upper limb movements and lower limb movements. These all are the example of muscular movements. Muscular movement also provided in the internal organs of the bodies. So there are three types of muscular, skeletal and neural. This coordination is necessary for the movement of the body and locomotion also. So these are the you can see it in the diagrams. These amoeboid movements by the pseudopodia, and in paramecium by the cilia. These muscular movements. This is the difference of the movements of the body. These all are the muscular movements. What's in their muscles by the different movements. We can't bend or walk without muscles. So muscles are important. They play important role. About 40 to 50% of the body weight are covered by the muscles. In this paper, you can see this is mesodermal in origin. Muscles are mesodermal in origin. They have special properties like contractility, extensibility, elasticity, and excitability. These are the different properties of the muscles. Important properties. You can see. Now, classification of muscles may be by locations, skeletal, visceral, and cardiac, by appearance, striated or stripped, or unstriated, by nature of the aggression, voluntary or involuntary. Now, go for the based on the location, maybe three types: skeletal, visceral, and cardiac muscles. These are three types of muscles. Skeletal is one, visceral, then cardiac. Go in detail. We can say these skeletal muscles, in which bone is attached to the muscle by the collagenous tissue tendons. This is striated and voluntary controlled. So voluntary muscle we can control by the voluntary, by the nervous systems, you can say. And these skeletal muscles we can use. And next is the visceral muscles. This is found in the internal organs of the body, like in alimentary canal and reproductive systems. This is a smooth muscle and non-striated and involuntary. This visceral movements, food is going through, and this is the visceral muscle in reproductive systems also. Next is the cardiac muscle. This is found in heart, and this is striated. They have single nucleus, and they are branched one. You can say this is the nucleus of the cardiac muscle. Different types of cardiac cells, muscle cells, make the cardiac muscles. So those three types of muscles, all are complex, and we will go in detail about the skeletal systems. A skeletal muscle is made of different fascicles or muscle bundles, and that is covered by the fascia. One layer, collagenous layer. This is the muscle fibers, and muscle bundle is made of different types of muscle fibers, and they have several nuclei, so syncytial conditions. And this muscle fiber have myofibril or myofilament, and here the plasma membrane is called sarcolemma, then sarcoplasm, cytoplasm is called sarcoplasm, and endoplasmic reticulum is called sarcoplasmic reticulums. This has the storehouse of the calcium ion that is important for contraction of the muscles. Now you can go in detail about the myofibrils or myofilaments structure. They have the stippled structures like a striation, so it is called dark band and the light bands. You can see this is the actin protein and this is the myosin protein. Myosin is thick band, actin is light bands. Actin myofilaments or is also called isotropic band or I band, and myosin filament is also called anisotropic band or A band. These two types of proteins, actin and this is the myosin filaments, this actin filaments. You can see in diagrams actin and this myosin parallelly arranged and longitudinally, you can say. Myosin filaments is the thick filaments and actin filaments is the thin filaments. You can see there is actin filament is thinner than the myosin filament. And this A band is bisected by fibrous membrane, that is M line. This is attached with the myosin, and this I band is bisected by the Z lines. This is elastic Z lines, this Z lines, and The portion between the two jet lines is called the a structural unit of the contraction, that is called sarcomere. Between the two jet lines, successive jet lines, this is the sarcomere. You can see in these diagrams also. And now this is M line, and this H zone is the unoverlapped by the actin myosin. Actin, this is the structure of the actin. There are three types of proteins: F actins, two F actins filaments. Those are helically wounded, and two tropomyosin protein filaments. You can see these are also helically wounded, or quite like a rope, you can say. And some a special complex protein is troponin. So three types. This is diagrams of the actins. Troponin is the site for attachment of the myosin. Myosin is the polymer of the monomer. So meson, this is the different monomer of the myosins. You can see these are two parts mainly: head with short arms, globular head with short arms, and tail. This is the part of the myosins. You can see head. This is the arm that form the cross arm. This is the heavy meromyosin, and tail is light meromyosin due to the lighter weight. You can say this head and arm is combinedly called cross arm. This is the cross arm, and this is the tail one of the myosin. This head of the myosin is the binding sites for ATP and actin. Actin. So important in muscle contraction. This is also have ATPase enzyme. That muscles, around 650 muscles are there in our body, and contractile property of the muscles help in locomotions. And this is the coordinated movements by the muscles, muscular system, skeletal system, and this neural systems. Do you think how do you contract the muscles when we aspire, jump, or cycling? These all are can understand by the mechanism of muscle contraction understood by the sliding filament theory. This explains the muscle contractions. This is the diagram of the myofibrils. This actin slides over the myosin. This theory states that actin slides over the myosins. Here the neural signal goes from the brain to the muscles through the motor neuron. You can see in these diagrams. And motor neuron and muscle fiber combinedly called motor unit. So muscle fibers and motor neuron combinedly called motor units. And the junction between the motor neuron and the sarcolemma is called neuromuscular junction or motor end plate. This is the motor end plate. This supplies acetylcholine, and that's create. This is the acetylcholine coming after getting the signal. This creates action potential in the sarcoplasm, and this in sarcoplasmic reticulum has calcium ions that is released, and this calcium ion, this is the myosin binding sites here. So this calcium ion attached with this troponin complex, and there is this is the cross bridge formations there. Myosin head is attached with the actin binding sites. You can see in this diagram that make a contraction of the muscles. So this is the cross bridge formations. This is important for contraction Here, the Z line is shown. You can say the edge zone is under or not overlapped by the actins. Here, Z lines is reduced, but this is the Z lines. The sarcomere is contracted. This is the contraction of the muscles. You can say in details we go in next slide. Here, I band is reduced, but A band retain the same length. You can say here I band is reduced. I band, that is actin band, isotropic bands. This again, this releases ATP and inorganic phosphate, and this again create here myosin head is separated from the actin. Thus make muscles relaxed, and by again ATP hydrolysis, again cross bridge formation is taken over. So this cycle is taken, muscle contraction, then relax of the muscles. This or again ATP and inorganic phosphates are coming, and then calcium ion in going back to the sarcoplasm of the muscle fiber. This is the showing the diagrams, muscle contraction and relaxation, you can say, and this in the muscles of the quadriceps and hamstrings. By repeated action, we can go for accumulation of lactic acid by the anaerobic muscular respiration. Muscles may be two types: those who undergo through the aerobic respiration and anaerobic respirations. There are two types of muscles: red fibers and the white fibers. And this is muscles that undergo aerobic respiration. This is red fibers, red in color. They have myoglobin that due to this the color of these red fibers are red. They have abundant in mitochondria, and that produce energy. And second one is the white fibers, muscles that undergo anaerobic respirations. They have less number of this is sarcoplasmic reticulums in abundant, but the mitochondria is lesser in amount. And this is the white fibers, maybe pale or white. And this now we'll go for this is all about